we'll just go on a little bit of a drive here today, guys. Don't really feel like doing too much to the car. Supposed to work on the locks, supposed to work on the AC in my daily. It's like 85 degrees. I really don't feel like doing any of it. So we're gonna go for a drive and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's not too shaky. Hopefully you guys can hear me. And yeah, just enjoy it. Actually, I figure I may as well take this time to give you guys a little bit of insight on this car. So I bought it in, it was either November or December. It was the end of November of 2021. Been looking for one for a little while, and wanted something nice and clean. Didn't necessarily want something as nice as this, but I mean, I definitely wanted something nice that I wasn't going to have to put a whole bunch of work into. And I kept seeing this one pop up. Finally decided it was really the only really nice one that was for sale in the area. So I went to look at it, and the dude that I bought it from had taken it to put some gas in it. So when I pulled up, it wasn't there, which, I mean, whatever, it's no big deal. But that just enabled me to watch it as he drove it in. And I tell you guys, I saw this thing. As soon as he turned the corner, I knew I was buying this car. That's how nice, and that's just how much I love this thing when I first saw it. So talked to the guy for a little while, decided to buy it. Thought I was going to be able to bring him down a little bit on the price. He didn't want to budge, which is fair. The car's worth what I paid for it. Got a buddy to come pick me up, and ended up taking it home. And being told to stop here, so gotta love construction area. So 23,307 miles on her as of right now, and she starts up, she drives, she is pretty much exactly what I was looking for. She's not perfect. She does have, I mean, obviously you guys saw in the intro video for this one, she has sprung a little bit of an oil leak. I haven't really had a chance to look at that, but being 30, let's see, is it 38 years old now? I'm assuming it's just a gasket that has dried up a little bit. I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, a little bit of a oil leak now. The front springs are a little weak. With the wider tires on, if I hit a bump hard enough, it will scrub the passenger side a little bit. So I need to do springs, not a big deal. I already replaced the shocks last year because they were, again, 37, 38 years old or whatever it was. So, I mean, that obviously needed to be done. Swapped the radio so I can have my Bluetooth. And other than that, that's all she's needed so far. Now I showed the damage from the break-in. Some, I'm just going to say punks. They obviously were not professionals. They were just amateurs, I'm guessing, looking for a ride in a cool car. I mean, based on the damage, the fact that they still didn't manage to get in the car, and the fact that I got into it within like a minute and a half afterwards, because they broke both of the locks. I didn't have a way of unlocking the doors. I had to actually break in, and I managed to do it without any damage or anything like that within a couple minutes. Don't think they were looking to steal anything necessarily. They just wanted to take the car for a ride, I think. I mean, I might be wrong on that, who knows, but so yeah, I've got to fix that damage. Other than that, and front springs, I don't think I mentioned before in the other video, but the driver's seats. Now guys, I'm 6'3" and over 300 pounds. I'm not a small guy. I had these cars in high school, and let's just say they felt a lot bigger back then than they do now. So I have replaced the driver's side seat bracket with one out of, I think it was a 3rd gen F body, to the Camaro Firebird, whatever. Bought the seat brackets on eBay, replaced the driver's side seat one, and that lowered the seats, I think it was about an inch or so, so now I have more headroom, which of course you can't see because, here, there we go. So now I have a little bit more headroom than I did, and of course the sunroof cars, they have a little bit less headroom to begin with. So I've got a little bit more headroom, and I also have some seat brackets, bracket extensions, from year one that I purchased that moved the seat back, I think it's 1.5 inches. So when I have this thing all the way back and sitting comfortably, I have an extra 1.5 inches, and I can just about stretch my leg out all the way, which is good. I have back problems, so really helps to be really comfortable when I'm driving. And other than that, inside here, everything else is stock. Like I said, the radio, the seat brackets, yeah, everything else is stock. So I don't really have any more plans to do anything in here. I'm going to do the headliner. As you can see, it's kind of sagging because, again, the car's 38 years old now, and that just kind of happens. So, yeah, this car here is my 4th Grand Prix. I bought the silver one. I made another video on that one. You guys might have seen so far. That is my 5th Grand Prix. My first car, in general, the first one I ever owned was an 84 Grand Prix. It was two-tone brown. It was a Brougham, so it was the luxury package. Had the power windows, power seat, the big fluffy pillow top bench on it. I mean, it was a pile. We got it for $50 because it needed a timing chain and wasn't running. Ended up kind of learning how to start working on cars doing that. Had the boyfriend of a girl that I used to work with. he was supposed to be a mechanic and was willing to kind of show me how to do it. So I learned very quickly what not to do, which includes using a hammer on the timing cover because it wouldn't go back on over with the oil pan in place. So I learned, don't do that, because we very quickly had a massive oil leak and had to go back on and redo everything. After that, I was a kid, so I wanted a Camaro, so I bought one of those. And then my older brother had a car. He bought it. It was really, really nice. It was another 85. It was a silver Grand Prix LE. Didn't have any power options. Had manual windows, manual seats, and everything. But the guy that he had bought it from had made a nice little project out of it. Had a hopped up little 350 in it. Some Corvette rallies on it. I mean, this thing was trick. It was really nice. By the time I got it, wasn't quite so nice. It had been stolen once, and it was just kind of, it was a little bit beat. It wasn't as nice. I drove it for a little while. That thing did killer burnouts until I blew the transmission on it. I have no idea how that happened. Apparently burnouts are hard on a transmission or something, I guess. Who knew? Ended up blowing the transmission on that, had to get rid of it. Then I bought a 76 Grand Prix. That thing was rusted to hell. It was fun though. That one had vinyl interior, T-tops, power power windows, power locks, no power seats. It was fun. It was a fun little car. A little fun, giant, massive freaking car, I guess. So, ended up blowing the motor and transmission on that one. When you're doing 70 miles an hour, keep your hand off the shifter so you don't accidentally press the button and drag it down into first. Cars don't like that, apparently. Got rid of that one and kind of get out of the Grand Prix game for a while. I had a 06 Monte Carlo SS for a little while. It's the wrong wheel drive V8 ones. That car was cool. I enjoyed it. Obviously, it's no Grand Prix, but. And then, summer a couple years ago, I started really looking for another Grand Prix and got this one. And then after I had this one for a little while, last year, I think it was September, October, or something like that. A guy that I've known for a long time has had this car, the silver car that you guys have seen, just sitting in the back of his shop for literally decades. He bought it, he was going to turn it into a race car, was driving it for a little bit, and yes, please stop before you hit me. People not paying attention. Was driving the silver car for a little while, ended up blowing a brake line on it, fixed the one brake line, I think that was the rear, and blew out the front, and just said, you know what, I don't love this car enough. I only wanted it to be a race car anyway. Parked it and decided he was going to go do something else. Well, like I said, there's probably 2 decades ago now, so it's just been sitting there, and they moved it outside a few years ago, and it's been sitting out there rusting. So I finally said, hey, why don't you just let me buy it from you and let me do something with it? He agreed. We made a deal, and that's my 5th Grand Prix. I only have the 2 Grand Prix now, along with my daily, so kind of wish I'd have kept the other ones, but obviously, who doesn't have a car that they wish they still had, right? Plans for this one, probably just going to keep her pretty much the way that she is. Fix the little things that are wrong, the headliner. Probably swap the seat brackets and everything on the passenger seat as well, because right now I only have the driver's seat. Most people probably won't notice that. It's something that I see, so something that bothers me a little bit, not big deal, but may as well fix it because I have the parts, so it'd be easy enough to do. Oh, this is not where I wanted to turn. Damn it. Alright. Yeah, other than that, I might swap the exhaust. I noticed a couple of the joints are starting to leak on this. And I mean, who doesn't love louder exhaust? So may as well just go ahead and do that. Otherwise, this one will be staying stock, other than just a few repairs and whatnot. And of course, fixing the locks and the scratch up here from the break-in. Other than that, the silver car is going to be the one that's getting all the love. That one, she's rusty. The floors are kind of bad, so I'm really have to get her out of that not field, I guess, but the yard, I guess we could say. Got to get her out of there. Really get her up on some stands and get underneath her and really see what we're working with. Yeah, we're going to swap the motor, swap the trans, swap the rear end, do all that on that car. I was going to originally do that on this one, but you know, they're only original ones, so probably just keep this one the way it is. Unless that one is just way too far gone, it's worse than I thought, then, you know, maybe plans will change. Yeah, we picked up a motor on Craigslist. It's a good motor. I think the guy said, like, he was claiming that it has over 400 horsepower, so in reality it's probably 300, 350 or so. Trans will swap to probably a 704 just because I have one and I have all of the parts to swap them in. Plus it's overdrive, which is something that neither one of these cars has, which kind of stinks because overdrive is nice for driving, for highway. Gonna go with a quick performance 9-inch just because 9-inch is easy to swap gears if I decide I ever need to do so, and I don't want to have to worry about a 10 or 12 volt GM. Just buy the whole center chunk and you're set. So that car, I kind of started getting into drag racing a little bit. My buddy's a big drag race fan, so he's kind of rubbing off on me a little bit at a time. So might end up building something that I can take to the track, that I can, you know, go maybe autocross or road racing or something with it, and then something, of course, that I can jump in and cruise. You know, I'm in the Chicagoland area here. I know every year the big G-Body Classic show is out in Ohio, so I'd like to take that, or, you know, take both of the cars actually out there. But I don't really want a trailer if I don't have to. I'm not a big fan of cars being on a trailer. They're meant to be driven, so I want to drive them. So I'll probably do that with hopefully both of them. And yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Other than that, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to do. Waiting on the silver car. Probably not going to do much to the silver car until, you know, the end of summer or fall. Just don't really. I'm not a summertime guy. I'm fat, so I prefer cold weather. So it's easier for me to work on stuff when it's cooler out. So I'll probably just do that. And yeah, anything else that I do, I'll definitely show you guys if you want to see. Otherwise, I will be probably just posting some, you know, car shows that I go to, walking around those or something like that. And yeah, if there's anything that you guys want to see on either one of the cars, any details you want me to share, or anything like that, of course, let me know. Otherwise, I've gotten some comments on both of the cars, and I appreciate those. Thank you guys for comments, for likes, for watching, and yeah, we'll see you again soon. I'm gonna go back to some driving here, and